How often do we question the balance between environmental preservation and social justice? In the bustling intersection of politics, social welfare, and environmental conservation, a new contender has emerged: eco-socialism. This ideology, gaining momentum in the current political landscape, seeks to reconcile two seemingly disparate elements: the preservation of our planet and the promotion of social justice. Often we perceive environmentalism as a luxury concern, reserved for those with the time and resources to devote to it. However, this is a misconception that needs to be debunked. The truth is, environmental issues and social justice are inextricably linked, with the impacts of climate change disproportionately affecting vulnerable communities. Eco-socialism acknowledges this connection, advocating for a society where both the environment and people are prioritized. It's a fresh perspective that challenges us to rethink our traditional views on politics, economy, and society itself. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the realms of eco-socialism and its comparison with other political ideologies. Scene script. First, let's understand what eco-socialism is. Eco-socialism, as the name suggests, is a blend of ecology and socialism. It's an ideology that seeks to marry the principles of environmental sustainability with the ideals of social justice. It's a relatively modern concept that has gained traction in recent years due to the escalating climate crisis and growing social inequality. At the heart of eco-socialism is the belief that our current capitalist system, with its relentless pursuit of growth and profit, is unsustainable. It's a system that exploits not only the labor force but also the Earth's natural resources, leading to environmental degradation and social inequity. Eco-socialism proposes a different approach. It advocates for a society where the means of production are collectively owned and managed, and where the environment is respected and preserved. It argues for a shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy, from mass production to sustainable practices, and from a society driven by consumerism to one that values the well-being of all its members and the planet. The goal of eco-socialism is not just to protect the environment, but to do so in a way that promotes social justice. It seeks to ensure that everyone, irrespective of their socioeconomic status, has equal access to natural resources and is equally protected from environmental hazards. It's about creating a society where the wealth generated from the Earth's resources is equitably distributed and where the costs of environmental protection are shared fairly. Eco-socialism also emphasizes the importance of democratic decision-making in managing our resources and addressing environmental issues. It believes that the people who are most affected by environmental decisions should have a say in those decisions. It's about giving power back to the people and fostering a sense of collective responsibility for our planet. In a nutshell, eco-socialism is about reimagining our society and our economy in a way that respects the limits of our planet and the rights of all its inhabitants. It's about creating a world that is sustainable, equitable, and just. Essentially, eco-socialism envisions a society where environmental and social justice are intertwined. Now, how does eco-socialism stand against capitalism, a dominant political ideology? To make sense of this, let's first understand capitalism. This ideology thrives on the principle of private ownership and free markets, where competition drives innovation and economic growth. It's like a race where everyone is striving to get ahead, to be the fastest, the most successful. But here's the catch. In this race, the environment often gets left behind. Why, you ask? Well, under capitalism, natural resources are seen as commodities to be exploited for profit. Forests become timber, oceans become fishing grounds, and the earth becomes a mine for fossil fuels. This relentless pursuit of economic growth often leads to environmental degradation. We've seen this happen time and again, from oil spills in the ocean to deforestation in the Amazon. But it's not just the environment that suffers. Capitalism can also exacerbate social inequality. The rich get richer, while the poor, well, they often stay poor. This is because the wealth generated in a capitalist society is not equally distributed. It tends to accumulate in the hands of a few, leaving many others struggling to make ends meet. On the other hand, we have eco-socialism, a nuanced ideology that seeks to balance environmental preservation with social justice. Eco-socialism argues for collective ownership of resources and their equitable distribution. It asserts that we should not just take from the environment, but also give back, ensuring its sustainability for future generations. Eco-socialism also champions social equality. It aims to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, advocating for everyone to have a fair share of the wealth. In this way, it seeks to ensure not just economic prosperity, but also social well-being. In essence, while capitalism focuses on individual gains, eco-socialism is about the collective. It's not a race, but a collective journey towards a sustainable and equitable world. It's about ensuring that as we progress, we don't leave anyone or anything behind. While capitalism focuses on individual gains, eco-socialism emphasizes collective welfare and environmental sustainability. But what about democratic socialism? How does eco-socialism differ from this political ideology? Well, both democratic socialism and eco-socialism share a common root in calling for social justice. They advocate for equitable distribution of resources and wealth, and they both challenge the capitalist system's inherent inequalities. They believe in democracy and the power of the people to make decisions about how society should operate. However, when we delve deeper, we start noticing some differences, particularly in their approach to environmental issues. Democratic socialism, while acknowledging the environmental crisis, tends to view it as another issue to be resolved within the framework of a democratic socialist society. It focuses on social justice and economic equality, with environmental concerns often taking a back seat. On the other hand, eco-socialism places the environment at the forefront of its ideology. It argues that social justice cannot be fully achieved without environmental justice. Eco-socialism asserts that the exploitation of the natural world is inherently linked to the exploitation of the working class. Hence, it seeks to address social issues and environmental degradation simultaneously, viewing the two as interlinked problems that require holistic solutions. Eco-socialism also differs from democratic socialism in its critique of industrialization. While democratic socialists often advocate for the democratization of industry, eco-socialists question the very nature of industrialization itself. They argue that a truly sustainable society requires a fundamental shift away from mass production and consumption. Moreover, eco-socialism promotes a more profound connection between humans and nature. It calls for a cultural shift, a change in our attitudes towards the natural world. It encourages us to see ourselves not as masters of nature, but as part of a larger ecological community. In essence, while democratic socialism prioritizes social justice, eco-socialism extends this concern to include environmental justice. Both ideologies strive for a fairer society, but they differ in their emphasis and approach towards environmental issues. Eco-socialism takes a more radical stance, arguing that social justice and environmental sustainability are inherently intertwined and must be addressed together for a truly equitable and sustainable future. So, why should we care about eco-socialism? Well, let's consider the state of our world today. We find ourselves in a time where the environmental crisis is reaching its boiling point. Forests are disappearing at an alarming rate, species are becoming extinct, and the Earth's climate is changing faster than we ever anticipated. It's a grim picture, but it's the reality we're facing. At the same time, we're also grappling with growing social inequality. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening, and basic necessities like food, shelter, and healthcare are becoming increasingly inaccessible for many. Social justice seems more like a dream than a reality in many parts of the world. Now, imagine a system that addresses both these issues simultaneously. A system that advocates for environmental sustainability while also championing social justice. That system is eco-socialism. Eco-socialism is relevant because it presents a holistic approach to solving our world's most pressing issues. It recognizes that the environmental crisis and social inequality are not separate, but interconnected problems that require interconnected solutions. It argues that we cannot achieve environmental sustainability without addressing social inequality, and vice versa. It encourages us to rethink our economic systems, our consumption habits, and our societal structures, all with the goal of creating a more sustainable and equitable world. Moreover, eco-socialism pushes us to consider not just the present, but the future as well. It reminds us that the decisions we make today will impact the generations to come, and challenges us to make choices that will ensure a livable planet for our children and grandchildren. So why should we care about eco-socialism? Because it offers a path forward. It provides a framework for us to confront and tackle the environmental crisis and social inequality, two of the most significant challenges we face today. In a world facing environmental degradation and social injustice, the principles of eco-socialism have never been more relevant. In conclusion, Eco-socialism presents a compelling approach to balancing environmentalism and social justice. Throughout our discussion, we've unpacked the essence of eco-socialism, a unique blend of ecological concerns and socialist principles. We've compared it with other economic systems like capitalism and democratic socialism, highlighting its focus on addressing environmental degradation while promoting socio-economic equality. Eco-socialism's relevance in the face of current global challenges is unquestionable. As we grapple with climate change, wealth disparity, and social injustice, it presents a solution that respects our planet's boundaries and prioritizes the welfare of all citizens. It's an approach that doesn't just aim for sustainability, but for a world where the fruits of the earth are shared equitably. As we stride into an uncertain future, the need for transformative systems like eco-socialism becomes more apparent. As we strive for a sustainable and equitable future, the principles of eco-socialism might just be the guiding light we need.